With all the controversy surrounding pistol braces these days, I thought, what better time to show off some affordable 9mm pistol caliber carbines, for freedom's sake. Plus, I heard it was good for Al Gore's rhythm, whatever that means. So here are 3 options. The EXTAR EP9, the Grand Power STRIBOG G, and the Scorpion S2 Micro. 3 guns, 3 different manufacturers with different recoil systems and very different price points. I'm Caleb, and you're watching TGC. Up first, the EXTAR EP9 Generation 2. Made in Arizona, it consists of a polymer upper, lower, and a non-foldable buffer-style dampening system that works very well with its blowback system. And it takes Glock mags. With AR9 style design and familiar controls, it's technically a large format handgun, but I'll allow it. I've reviewed this and the first gen on my channel, 12 Spies, and spoiler alert, they're pretty excellent guns for the money, with EXTAR providing regular updates since it's released. And it's managed to stay inflation-proof at under $500, meaning it doesn't have much competition in this tier. Next, the STRIBOG or STRIBOG SP9A3G. Made in Slovakia, this is their latest iteration next to the SP9A3S. Features a roller-delayed blowback system, not unlike but not identical to the MP5, and it also takes Glock mags, as indicated by the G in the name. It has a metal upper and a polymer lower, ambidextrous controls, and a folding SB brace. Grand Power has been on a roll with these, gaining a lot of market share with their latest iterations. As configured, it's about $1,200, but if you forego the SB brace, it's pretty close for a $1,000 tier. And the CZ Scorpion. It needs no introduction.
That should save us some time.
This particular one is the last iteration, the Evo 3 S2 Micro. I couldn't get my hands on an S3.
Or a good script.
But it has a robust aftermarket, so I thought it'd be great to show off one that's been tricked out and converted to an SBR, and we can assess it in this form. Upgrades include the HB Industries trigger, spring kit, charging handle, AK safety style switches, a Strike Industries mag release, Manticore arms collapsing stock, A3 tactical vertical foregrip, Magpul pop-up irons, the Yeti Works switchback grip, which seems fairly comparable to the new S3 Scorpion grip ergonomically, and it's been made super duper safe with a tax stamp. This is a relief to hear because, as you know, pistol braces are the leading killer of adults ages 18 to 45, and there's even an acronym to go along with it. Firearm extensions negate taxes and nullify youthful life. I didn't count the optic in the price of the other two, so let's just say with a base price of around $1,000, around $600 in upgrades without the 510C, and $300 for the tax stamp and engraving, this represents the upper affordable but still sub B&T MP5 tier at around $2,000. Categories I've set for this comparison are as follows: features, versatility, and shooting experience. Before we get rolling, thank you to Global Ordnance for providing ammo for this video, and the STRIBOG G. Thank you to EXTAR for providing the EP9 and the updated grip, and CZ, they didn't send me the Scorpion, which is fine. I'd be willing to accept a Bren in the caliber of their choice because I'm so reasonable. Swamp Fox sent me 2 Krakens, a red dot and a green dot for the EXTAR and the Grand Power, and I've been very impressed not just with the function and brightness, but with how durable they are, because like all of my durability testing, it's always accidental. So I stepped over my bag, dragged the bog off, and stomped on it on the rocky ground, and it barely has a scratch on it. Sometimes I wonder how I've made it this far in life. So thank you to them. Let's hear from our sponsors, and then we'll get right back into features.
I want to give a quick shout out to Axle Ear Pro. These guys make some of the best stuff that I'm aware of. This is the Ghost Strike Extreme, the GS Extreme, and if you use our link in the description, you get a massive discount. I think it's somewhere between 25 and 50% off these units. They're Bluetooth, they are sound amplifying, sound deadening. They've got different tips to fit different ear sizes, and overall they're just rad. So go check out them, the Axle GS Extreme, at the link down in the description. That would be greatly appreciated so that we can continue bringing videos like this.
The EP9 features a 6.5-inch barrel tipped with a blast can blast director of sorts, which can be removed by hand thanks to a split locking washer, which is handy, and the thread is 1/2 by 28. The polymer handguard is durable and has plenty of M-lock, and I stuck a Slate Industries notch on this one. Handguard mounting is simple but proprietary, so it's not compatible with other AR handguards. However, the EP9 lower is compatible with AR triggers, grips, and safeties, so despite having the smallest dedicated aftermarket, it's built with a huge existing ecosystem in mind. And as I stated before, it runs Glock mags. These particular ones are made in-house by EXTAR, and they're great quality with an 18-round capacity. EXTAR is also working on a buffer adapter if you want to use a mil-spec brace or convert it to an SBR, as this is not a mil-spec or commercial buffer and it's not threaded. The side charging handle is easy to grab and manipulate, though it's not switchable to the other side. And because the bolt runs directly in the polymer upper without metal on metal, the bolt needs little or no lubrication to run, which feels alien, but I have over 1,000 rounds through this one with almost zero lubrication on the bolt, and it's not wearing unusually. The STRIBOG has an 8-inch barrel, the longest of the group, with a thread protector and a 1/2 by 28 thread. The metal upper has a nice build quality with M-lock on the handguard and an accessory rail below. It features built-in iron sights, which is pretty handy, and though they are polymer and unsubstantial, they work well and take up very little space, and there's a backup pair included in the box. Better to have them and not need them than to, you know. The brand and line are growing rapidly in interest, leading to a growing aftermarket with handguard extensions, lowers, braces, and more. Glock mag compatibility is an easy bonus, and it comes with SHK fun sticks, which are decent quality. The grip is non-replaceable, nor are there many trigger upgrades, and you have to switch out the whole lower to get that, which is kind of a bummer. The charging handle is easy to manipulate and can be switched to the other side, and overall the controls are good. The Scorpion has the shortest barrel in the group, half that of the BOG at only 4 inches, and it's tipped with a blast can. The handguard is short but has a good amount of mounting options. It's kind of like the Glock in this group. It has a great reputation, brand and model recognition is huge, and the aftermarket is massive for a pistol caliber carbine. And like the Glock, it doesn't have a great trigger out of the box, but spoiler alert, the new spring and trigger fixes that. And while the Grand Power is certainly growing rapidly in aftermarket offerings, the Scorpion is still the current king. And no, I'm not going to do any kind of Scorpion wins thing. Maybe one.
Scorpion wins.
You can get the hell out!
Oh shit! Oh shit, dude!
Versatility. If you like the idea of a pistol caliber carbine as a truck or backpack gun, you're going to want to know just how flexible at stowing it can be. The EXTAR's buffer system is fixed, as I mentioned earlier, and cannot be folded. Likewise, the solid bolt and proprietary polymer buffer makes it incompatible with folding systems like what Law Tactical offers, and there's no adjustable length of pull. So this is what you get at 24.5 inches. You could break it down to an upper and lower, and this definitely makes it a more concealable setup, but assembling it under pressure isn't the easiest, and it will log you the most time to deploy out of the group. By a lot. STRIBOG G has a folding SB brace and measures in at 15.5 inches in its shortest configuration. The brace provides a great cheek weld, deploys fast and easy, and feels like it will last longer than the rails in the PDW stock of the Scorpion, which has a lot of friction. This makes the BOG less finicky to deploy than the Scorpion and the fastest of the three, and it can fire folded no problem. The Scorpion retracts to the shortest at just 14.5 inches, and the PDW stock may scrape and grind, but it collapses to have the narrowest profile, making the Scorpion the stowiest of the three. It too can fire collapse, no issues.
So we can shoot.
Now, while the Scorpion has the smallest profile, I'd give up the inch in length and width
Like he had a choice.
for the folding stock of the STRIBOG and for its speed and better contact points. Shooting experience. Now you may think because it's the polymer wonder and under 500 beans that the EXTAR can't hang with this group, but you'd be wrong. The AR style controls make it the easiest and fastest to pick up and run, and the buffer system does an excellent job of sorting out recoil, despite the gun being the lightest of the group. Recoil is unique compared to the others, but despite its somewhat galloping impulse, it's soft, predictable, and goes back on target fast. The trigger feel is great, has very little take-up and a clean break, and a crisp, mechanical reset. It's much better than the factory Scorpion trigger and better than any sub $500 gun in this category deserves. There's plenty of real estate to grab onto, the handguard is comfortable, and the buffer provides a good cheek weld. No problems running various mags from Glock, Magpul, SHK, SGM, and the factory mags are great. The BOG's roller delayed system is no gimmick, and it really sorts out the recoil impulse well, making it the softest and flattest of the three, but not by a huge margin. Overall, it's a great shooter, the trigger has very little take-up, and the break is clean with a very short reset. Controls are very light and crisp, and it's the second easiest gun here to run for me. A few small gripes, the mag release and the bolt release can be a little stiff at times, so you have to be more deliberate, but they are breaking in slowly, so who knows where they'll be in another 300 rounds. I found it was best to use my offhand thumb rather than to use my trigger finger to drop the bolt, and the motion is natural from AR familiarity. Grand Power did warn me ahead of time that the last round hold open can be a little finicky on the BOG G depending on mags, and indeed I did have some issues where the bolt would lock back with 1 or 2 rounds left, or wouldn't drop with 1 round when I was doing reload drills. This was very infrequent, and for the most part it ran great, and it did like the other Glock style mags I had just fine. The Scorpion is extremely fun to shoot. It's hard to perceive because of its shorter length, but it was a tad more snappy compared to the BOG and the EXTAR, due in part to its straight blowback design and the aforementioned barrel length, but it has more horizontal movement as well, in part to the lack of a cheek weld on the PDW style stock. I'm not a huge fan of these telescoping braces for that reason. Sorry. This is really nitpicking though because it's still a great shooter. The vertical foregrip adds great purchasing control, and it's really slick and just cool overall design. Out of the box, the S2 was not the most ergonomic with its slanted grip and pokey safety, nor as thrilling with its meh trigger, but with this host of upgrades, it just feels very tight. The trigger is great now and it makes it the fastest of the three. The grip, the safety, it all just feels miles better. This is its final form. Despite this, it was the slowest of the three to run for me, in part with a control layout that feels the least natural, the mag release especially. Now, if this is the only pistol caliber carbine that you run, you're gonna get used to it, but shooting it back to back with the other two, I made more frequent mistakes. Hugely subjective, yes, and it doesn't take away from it being the most fun of the group. Now, crowning a winner when there's such a giant price gap and one has been converted to an SBR seems unfair. But for the money, the EXTAR is an insanely good value. It's half the cost of the BOG and a quarter of the cost of the Scorpion as configured. And as far as a shooting experience, reliability, and some durability testing I've done, it punches way above its price. The BOG is a very well thought out and great shooting gun, and the inclusion of a Glock mag version is a great move. Based on their aggressive updates, I think they'll probably come to market with a different caliber version before the others. The Scorpion is a joy and it holds the highest cool factor. Everything is just tight and mechanical. It's like a good Nachi manual transmission, which is funny because automotive journalists commonly compare mechanical feeling shifters to a bolt action rifle.
Fascinating.
So, which would you pick? And what other guns should have been in this comparison? And with more manufacturers offering 5.7 carbines like Ruger recently, is that the caliber that the market should be moving towards, or is there a better direction? Let me know in the comments below and stay tuned to TGC. Thanks for watching.
Hey, pretty mama, won't you give me a sign?
Damn.